Hello, today this is my third video and I'm going to start with a scripture, but today is going to be fun time. And my scripture is Psalms 37, 3 and 4. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pastures. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Well, my desires is writing and singing, and mostly gospel songs, but today it's going to be basically country. The first song is called Grand Old Kitchen Band, so I'm going to give you some music on it to go to. Said the DJ, no, this is the wrong one. Hurry up and perk the coffee, Ma, you see, I want the can. So, 'cause if I had some bongo drums, I could play in this band. I've been trying for so long to make them let me in and sing a hit, play a bit with the Grand Old Kitchen Band. Now we ain't had a bath since John and Billy took the tub. Been wearing dirty breeches since Janice stole the scrub. If things are smelling bad round here, I hope the neighbors understand. We're singing hits, playing bits with the Grand Old Kitchen Band. Now if you come real early, you can hear the kazoots toot, and the cow horns will groan in with their hoot, hoot, hoot. And sweet Annie's mighty proud of her tambourine. She's singing hits, playing bits with the Grand Old Kitchen Band. Well, sing a hit, play a bit with the Grand Old Kitchen Band. All right, the next song is How Do You Write a Good Old Country Song? Said the DJ on the radio, a contest is on. We're gonna see if folks round here can write a country song. There'll be a trip to Nashville if you say the right word, and we'll gladly assure you your songs will be heard. How do you write a good old country song? Golly gee. How do you write a good old country song? I don't need satin sheets, I don't lay in fields of stone, and I ain't nobody's gonna put crackers in my bed. Mr. DJ on the radio, I sure would like to go to that great music city, my songs I'd like to show. There'll be a trip to Nashville if you say the right words, and we'll gladly assure you your songs will be heard. But how do you write a good old country song? Someone help me. How do you write a good old country song? Don't go in honky-tonks, I don't wear tight-fitting jeans, and I ain't been slipping around with no one's man. Mr. DJ, how do you write a good old country song? Another thing that I have always had fun with is my kids. And the twins, they were in a football game. I spent 17 years on the Little League fields, baseball, basketball, football. And they were in this football game, and one of them was the captain. And so my grandson made me the picture my daughter-in-law made me a book. This is the book right here. My daughter-in-law made me a book, and my grandson did the artwork in it, and this is a picture where he drew me a little football player. And so I'm going to read that football story I'll read it from here. The uniform was somewhat large as he lit out upon the field. Thought he'd lose his shoulder pads, but they're tied on, so don't guess he will. You see, he's captain going on 9, and he must keep his men in line. 10 yards to go, and then 10 more. Uh-oh, the team just scored. We've got the ball. They're in a heap. That's one pigskin they just can't keep. The other team is pushing hard. They get first down, yard after yard. The foe has fumbled. We've got the ball. It's time for him to make his call. He stops to count his men again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He stands a-waving for another. Call time out, yells Coach. Oh, brother. It's okay, Coach. Forget the whiff. He just forgot to count himself. Too much time, decisions made. The referees say the game's delayed. 5 more yards, his team must go. But it's all right, 'cause he don't know. They push on hard to gain it back. They lost not many yards their team will lack. They lost the game, but he's a-grinning. I thought that only came with winning. You see their plays were not so good, but yet they did the best they could. What they have yet to gain in merit is abundantly made up in spirit. If we could just make time stand still long enough to mold the will, the secret ways to lose and win, as well as football's little men. All right, thank you for listening to that. And now I'm going to, I've got music put to a lot of my songs, and this one is one I feel like needs the music, and it's called, no, that's the wrong paper. I'm sorry. When It Comes to Loving. And so I have sang it lots of times, so hopefully it'll go over good this time. The world is all set on schedule of pace. There's meeting arriving on time. A fashion scene gives us charge to enforce the essence of colors to rhyme. But I'm not concerned with being precise. I know I'm no fashion gem. But if you love me the way I love you, then take me just as I am. Don't make me punch a time clock. Insist that everything must rhyme. But when it comes to loving, I'll be punching overtime. Don't ask of me an equal measure. Pour in yeast and let it grow. And when it comes to loving, let your feelings overflow. The values of praise when buying a home, a search will confirm a clear need. A cook would not think of cooking without exact ingredients she needs. But no document can meter my love. It's clear cut what I need the most. And if you love me the way I love you, then show me by holding me close. Don't make me punch a time clock. Insist that everything must rhyme. But when it comes to loving, I'll be punching overtime. Don't ask of me an equal measure. Pour in yeast and let it grow. And when it comes to loving, let your feelings overflow. When it comes to loving, it's for certain I love you. Thank you, and this is the end of my program today, but I will be back next week. The music was made by the Silver Dollar Bands 35 years ago. So have a nice week. See you next week.